Look, I'm not really sure how I should start this video. I guess I could start by talking about the fact that Phil Spencer has come out yet again and talked about Microsoft's first party and how lackluster it's been this generation. And if you've been around the channel, if you're one of those who watch my videos, you know that I've talked about this several times, and I've talked about this at length on RDX Podcast. And I talk about this because I truly want the brand to be more competitive, to get better in the software aspect. As an Xbox guy, a true Xbox fan who has every single platform, including a Threadripper 2080 build PC, for some reason, I still prefer to play on console. A lot of people don't understand this, and that preferred console happens to be the Xbox platform. I've got well over 100,000 gamer score. I put in a lot of time doing what I think is the best hobby there is. It's supposed to be about happiness and escape. It helps you get away from your real problems. Look, gaming is the best hobby in the world, bar none. And ultimately, it's supposed to be more positive than negative. I'd like to think that. I still have a little bit of faith here. But quite frankly, there's this culture, and it's swept over in the last several years of negativity where people are rewarded with not only a bunch of money, but subscribers and notoriety for crushing games that they probably don't even ever intend on playing. Look, I'm not into it. I don't respect it. People bashing on any platform for money and views is kind of corny to me. But you know what? When it comes to the software, those people actually are right in that specific category. Though they like to push it out and make it much more broad than it actually is, software is the one issue where Microsoft does have a problem. And I think it's gotten to the point where even the most hardcore Xbox guy can finally admit that there is a problem here. After all, no one benefits if you, along with everyone else, does not speak up. And as a matter of fact, even Phil Spencer is speaking up about this problem. When speaking to Fortune, he says, "The power of content. I see it every day. The things that people see come to Xbox. Very few people turn on their Xbox just to stare at the dashboard. People turn on their Xbox to go play games." And I think us having a strong first-party Xbox means that when thinking about Xbox, I'm going to think about high-quality games. Now, this is the important part. He says, "We have work to do there. We haven't done our best work over the past few years with our first-party games." Now, again, I'm going to applaud Phil Spencer for saying this, not bash the guy. This has been a problem. We have been speaking out, and he is repeating it back to us. He is repeating our own words, meaning it is working. I mean, I get told this in my comments every single day as well, mostly by trolls, but you know, there's some respectable gamers in there as well. And yes, I get it, trust me of all people, I understand that it is rough on the Xbox platform for first-party games. That's it right there. That's the issue. First-party titles. We need those to step it up because it has been years since we've gotten a blockbuster game like Gears of War 5. And thank God for Gears of War 5 because we waited long enough for a game of this caliber. I mean, all credit due to Forza Horizon 4, but you know, racing game's a racing game. I hate saying this, but I'm starting to agree it's just another racing game at this point. Don't get me wrong, a great, fantastic racing game, but there's been Forza every single year. You can look at the clock and know exactly when it's going to come out. These games need to complement other great games, and until they do so, it kind of feels like it's just another racing game. Like, cool, but all right. I'm kind of getting that feeling fatigue. I'm not gonna lie, and you're listening to one of the biggest Forza fans there are. Now, that doesn't mean stop making Forza Motorsport, obviously, but I am ready for that next level experience. And you know what? I know there's a lot of Xbox fans out there that are as well, but there are also a ton that will comment and assume that I'm saying the worst, that I'm asking for more from Microsoft. So I'm just, I'm selling out. You know, I'm doing some dumb shit. I'm bringing harm to the brand. No, it's because of people like me that the brand is stepping their game up. I've been criticizing Microsoft in a more intelligent way. It's something I like to call constructive criticism. And honestly, I believe it's the best way to do it. Now, I say that, but I also say that there's no way that any real supporter of this channel, nobody who's been rocking out with me for however long now, hasn't heard me say these things in videos already or on Real Deal Xbox podcast already. So perhaps I'm saying that for no reason. But I do remember that people didn't like my Sea of Thieves review. They for some reason thought that I was lying. Again, I just do me. That doesn't mean you have to dislike something. And I've got big hopes for the future of Xbox. I've said this before, but I've also said that I am not happy with the key first-party output of Microsoft. I don't need these games to be exclusive. I'm not one of those that needs a game to be locked down to a box to vindicate my purchase. Look, I'm just not interested in the exclusive war bullshit. I've got every platform. Now, as a fan of one platform over the others, to me, my thinking is I want to ask that platform to do what it doesn't do the best better. Strive to be the best. And this is why we've talked about over and over Microsoft increasing their AAA output, which we know they are doing. People, there's a reason that they've over doubled their studios in the last year and a half. There's a reason that they've invested and hired more people for almost every single studio. They're trying to fix problems. This isn't even critical thinking at this point. This is common sense. But I urge Microsoft to push these studios towards big budget AAA games. Say it with me, big budget AAA games. We want to see a lot of money up on that screen. Now again, I will clarify, because on YouTube you have to do that because everybody's always nitpicking every single thing you say without really thinking about the context. Just because I am asking for more big budget AAA blockbuster games from Xbox, as pretty much everyone should be, that does not mean I am saying, all right, no smaller games. There's no room for indies. There's no room for AA's. Forget all the small budget titles. Throw them in the fire and then microwave what's left. That's not what I'm saying. I think it's obvious what I'm saying. This is not a war on smaller games. Once more, we need more big games. And again, thank God for Gears of War 5, because it has been since Gears of War 4 that we've gotten a blockbuster game, or what I would call a bigger budget AAA game. One that puts people at awe, one that has these big AAA set pieces, one that has these visuals that just, drop your jaw, one that has a narrative that compels you to stay up until 3 a.m., one that has multiplayer that makes you log 1,000 hours. What would you do if I told you that maybe this game should have all of these things? This is what I'm talking about. Something like Gears of War 5 will have all of these things, and it has been a long time since we've gotten a game like that from Microsoft that wasn't a racing game. And even the racing game, you know what? The story and all that, get rid of it. Set pieces, get rid of it. All that stuff. Not even the racing games have this. We need this from some of these games. And again, if you're a listener, you know this. I've talked about this. You're probably like, shut the fuck up already. I've heard this. I get it. But then again, some of you are probably like, well, Sony hasn't had that. Don't worry about Sony. It doesn't matter if they've had worse games than Xbox. Imagine a world where they haven't had a really, really good year and a half, 2 years. It doesn't matter. I'm still not getting exactly what I want to see over here. And you know what? Maybe you disagree. Maybe you agree. That's for you to let me know down in the comments. But again, I'm passionate about this hobby. And I'm very, very excited for the future of Xbox because I know what they're working on. I know they've got a lot of manpower working on some cool stuff. But I think really the recent stuff is kind of the issue. Aside from Horizon and stuff like that, Gears of War 5 is going to be fire. Now, if you happen to enjoy every single thing they put out, that's great. Everyone's allowed to have an opinion. You are definitely in that circle. I run a pretty decently sized Xbox channel. I hear from a lot of people, all walks of life, all preferences, and even all platforms. And there's a lot of people that like Sea of Thieves, right? I myself was a big State of Decay 1 fan. I enjoy State of Decay 2. I gave it a 7.5. And by the way, 7.5 is not a bad score, like some people believe it is. But it is not God of War. It is not Uncharted 4. It is not Horizon Zero Dawn even. It's definitely not Spider-Man. Hell, as much as I actually enjoyed the State of Decay franchise, it's not even Days Gone, which if you watch my Days Gone review, you know I actually enjoyed that game. And a big part of that was visuals. Days Gone looks really good. And yes, gameplay goes hand in hand. I shouldn't have to say, yeah, the gameplay's important too, because that's obvious. But if a game has great gameplay, it's got great mechanics, a great story even, plus it looks good, that good game is even better. Look, I'm digressing. I'm a hardcore Xbox guy in my own view of things, meaning that's where I prefer to play. I've got every platform, but I'm also very vocal. I feel like you have to be more hardcore to actually speak out and ask for more big budget AAA type games when you're not getting them. Like Phil Spencer is admitting right here, first party has been lackluster. But again, the point of this video is, well, hey, I guess there's not really a damn point. I guess I kind of just want to get my message out there. Yet again, maybe all in one place, I don't know, for people to hear. Potentially, I got some executives and stuff that follow me on Twitter. Who knows, man? I mean, maybe it'll make a bigger difference letting these guys know yet again that we do like Sonys Message, or at least many of us like Sonys Message of being more for the hardcore, maybe not focusing so much on Bambi Simulator, but but the next big hype train. Instead, just know that your hardcore fans, the guys that buy almost every single game you put out, buy every system you put out, buy all your controllers, the guys that log thousands of hours on YouTube talking about this stuff right now, what we want is big blockbuster AAA games. We need some big games. It's been a long time, and I think Microsoft know this. Do not think for a second that I think I'm sending out a message that hasn't been heard before, but it is an important message to keep sending. And there is a part of me that thinks that Microsoft can be a little bit defensive, especially after this last E3. I think a lot of the management was probably a little defensive of their showcase because, of course, the internet, most of which love hammering Microsoft and Xbox for pretty much everything, even when they're doing good things in the industry, did what they do. And I think Microsoft writes a lot of those people off. But look, we've had Xbox executives on the show, on RDX podcast. We had Mike Ybarra on the show. We know they pay attention to the channel. We know they listen to the channel at least somewhat, and we want to give our opinion out there from at least a little bit more balanced perspective, at least from my viewpoint. Yes, Microsoft, some of the criticism is definitely warranted, and I've already said it all before this point. And what's going to separate this video from many others is what I've already said is just as important as what I'm about to say. Look, Microsoft have Turn 10, they've got Playground Games, they've got The Initiative, they got Ninja Theory, they got Obsidian, they got 343, they got The Coalition. Those are all big studios, and many of which have more than one team working on more than one game right now. We know we're getting some big games from these guys. No one's more aware of that than me, but I do like the message that Sony's sending out, that they're for the hardcore, that they are actually not really going to be focusing on a lot of smaller games. They're going to be putting out a lot of bigger budget AAA IP. That's that stuff I do like. And when you put out a game that looks this good, it incentivizes me to buy the best hardware you have to experience the game that looks that good. Remember, it is the hardcore that generally push the narrative to everyone else about the platform. It's the guys like me and those of you in the chat, those of you watching the video, that push this out to the people you know, that show the gameplay online for others to see, that tell their friends what's out, what's good. And I think for the most part, we can all agree that if Microsoft put as much money as maybe Naughty Dog has into Uncharted 4 or the next one, then they can make something just as great, if not better, especially after acquiring all of this talent. And to the Sony guys, you should want this competition. Only a fool wants one side to dominate any part of any competition, because as we've seen over and over and over, and we even saw with the fucking PS3, you don't want one side to get too cocky. There's work to be done for every single brand in this console market, every single manufacturer, and every single gaming space. Microsoft is not exempt, but they have done a lot since they started getting their butt kicked. And that's great. I wouldn't change it. But what I would change is the games and the quality of them. State of Decay 3, for instance, put a lot of money into it, make it more AAA. Gears of War 5, I'm hoping for a big semi-open world with a big narrative, customization, and more. The next Forza Motorsport game, I need more than ever. I'm tired of the same thing over and over every other year, though I am still excited, much like those who play Madden or MLB The Show are excited. I'm still excited for the next installment because I'm a big Forza fan, but I need something more out of the next motorsport simulation-based series. Fable 4, the worst kept secret in gaming, needs to be a stunner. It needs to look absolutely gorgeous and be a very, very in-depth, deep RPG with some really, really crazy side missions. You've got steep competition in games like The Witcher and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Ninja Theory are going to be working on something absolutely insane. The Initiative are tasked with creating a huge budgeted new IP for Microsoft, and I'm rooting for those guys. They have all of the talent in the world. They are still recruiting guys from Sony Santa Monica, Naughty Dog, and more, not to mention the lead producer of God of War 2018, which is a good sign. Rare is apparently working on another title, much in the vein of some kind of fantasy realm stuff, but they're doing so this time with a bigger team and a bigger budget. Don't forget that studio has two teams as well. 343 and Halo Infinite is looking absolutely fantastic right now. I don't care what anyone said, the game still looks absolutely fantastic given the fact that it's running in real time at 60 frames per second. That's double the frame rate of most other AAA games out there. It looks fantastic. Those are just a few of the games that are coming, and we know that they are wanting to create new IP as well, which I cannot stress enough. This is very, very important. Microsoft have some great stuff coming, but personally, I just want to put this out there. Maybe for me, I don't know why. I just felt like talking about it today. Look, you won't hear me complaining about this every single week or every other day or every day. That kind of stuff is really corny to me, and that's just my opinion. That's not a shot at any one group of people or any one person. That's just not why I'm into gaming. As I explained at the beginning of the video, I've talked about this so many times on my own podcast, on my own videos. It's common sense. These are things that Microsoft know. We've all talked about it, but I'm not going to depress myself no matter what platform I prefer. Yeah, let's say I'm a PlayStation guy. I'm not going to sit here and focus on Xbox's problems and nothing but Xbox. That will make me a weirdo, right? That's just not the kind of person I am. I'm gonna go play some games and try to have some fun. So let me know your thoughts down below. If you agree, if you disagree. Again, I want to know your thoughts. Maybe even more than you think I do. Have a great time with the Gears 5 tech test this weekend. Gears of War 5 is about a month away. Cannot wait. Again, thoughts? Hit that retweet button. Hit that like button, maybe subscribe if you're new. Also, if you guys want to support the channel, maybe the content that you may or may not like, feel free to hit that join button next to the subscribe button. There is also a Patreon link down below where we give away games and more. And again, thank you all. You all power this channel. You're the reason that it is a thing. You're the reason that it has continued to grow. And I'm thankful to everyone who has stuck by me over the past couple years. Again, I'm Dealer. I'm out.